Hello, hello to our Patreon subscribers. We, of course, super appreciate all your support. So just for you, here is a bonus good or bad advice. So this is about stopping to gaslight yourself, ways to stop gaslighting yourself. We know a lot of other people can gaslight us, but also we can gaslight ourselves. So what I'm going to do is just read the back and forths, and then you guys dive in immediately with your thoughts. There are 4 ways to gaslight and then a solution. So I'm going to read through all of them, and then you just talk about what you want to talk about, which ones you think are good or bad advice. 1, maybe it's all in my head. Solution, my experiences are real and valid. 2, I shouldn't feel this way. Correction or different spin. If it's sticking with me, it must be a trigger. Where do I need to heal? This is number 3. I shouldn't be upset. I'm sure they didn't mean it. Solution or alternative. Even if they didn't mean it meanly, it still hurt. Number 4, I don't deserve to be happy. Solution or, different take. My past mistakes don't define my future. So any order that you guys want to go with, we can do one all. Woods, you want to start us off?
Sure. I guess what you read probably meets like the definition of gaslighting. Man, it's a term that's taken off in popularity the last few years, hasn't it?
Yeah. I use it probably way too much as well.
Well, I also think it's probably picking up on something that now that people have recognized sort of the flavor of it, it makes sense to want to name people's problematic behavior and how it makes you feel, whether or not it sort of fits the technical definition.
Yeah.
But I think gaslighting yourself is sort of a really interesting way to describe it. I think what I heard was a lot of invalidation of my own emotions. Actually, I think all of the examples you shared were in validation of sort of my own emotions. And even if somebody, I think the reframes make sense too, that saying I shouldn't be upset because they didn't mean it is sort of ignoring the fact that impact and intent can be 2 separate things, right? So that somebody may not have intended to hurt me. I think this is sort of the reframe you shared, but also it can still have hurt. Both things can be true.
Right.
And so rather than sort of invalidate myself, what is that emotion telling me that is important? And I think that was sort of in one of the other reframes you suggested that if I'm experiencing an emotion, it may be important and it may be worth my sort of paying attention to. What is it telling me and what is it motivating me to do? Do I feel like I want to follow through?
Yes, exactly. So what is that emotion? What does it make sense? And then like, what kind of revenge do I want to do?
Yes, exactly. That's right. Yes. Lots of revenge. I didn't feel like I heard that in there, but if it was, good advice. Yeah.
Full circle.
Just kidding. We already talked about revenge is bad. Cecily, what are your thoughts right off the bat?
All 4 of those sort of reframes, right?
Gosh, you guys are such good therapists. I couldn't even find the term reframe. Ugh. I'm the worst. Look at me. I'm gaslighting myself.
There you are. I think all of those I thought were great. I do think, when I hear people, often, I see this in practice too, that people become really minimizing their own needs, their own feelings, their own thoughts. It tends to perpetuate whatever the experiences that they have. It's like, it's really important that they start with extending themselves some compassion for how they're feeling and thinking, and so like acceptance, compassion, like all of those things are critical to moving forward in terms of whatever repair, right, healing one is trying to do. So I think we could all agree we're our own worst critics in so many ways. And I think we've got to find ways, right, to recognize whatever we're feeling, whether or not we feel like good about it or embarrassed by it, like it is how we feel. And we just got to stop trying to combat it, because I think a lot of the stress, tension, and conflict we experience comes from denying our own experience. And it's like when we can really like put that fight aside, like we can have enough energy, I think, to do the work, right? Like I think it has to start with just recognizing, I feel something really, really bad right now. And I feel something I feel really embarrassed by, and just like letting ourselves feel those things. It's hard, much easier said than done, but there's so much tension we hold between what we think, how we feel, and how much we try to deny that because it doesn't feel like it makes sense or should be how we feel or think, right? Or what other people will think about that.
Yeah, I shouldn't feel this way. Maybe it's all in my head. Those, I think, are the 2 out of the 4 that I am most guilty of doing. But yeah, I think the reframes are good, but it takes work to be kind and gentle to yourselves out there.
It really does. It's incredibly difficult.
As always, thanks for listening to Attached. We'll catch you next time.